Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about states of matter. There's 3 different states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. I'm going to show you the similarities and differences between all 3 states of matter. So we're going to start off by looking at solids. So what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing the particles in a solid. I'm representing the particles just by these little circles. So as you can see, in a solid, the particles are closely packed together in this kind of formation. This kind of formation is called a lattice. That's just the name for this kind of shape. It's repeating units tightly packed together. So, as you can see, there are very strong forces of attraction between each different particle. That's what holds them in this fixed shape. So they do have a definite shape that they hold. They also have a fixed volume, which means the volume is consistent, it's fixed. Next up, the particles have low energy. There's a low amount of energy in each of the particles. Also, they're not free to move. So they're not free to move anywhere. So this particle couldn't just start moving off over here, but they do vibrate. So each of these particles can vibrate. Now, the more you heat up these particles, the more that they vibrate. That's what causes objects to expand when they're heated. Okay, next up we have liquids. So again, I'm going to draw the particle model to show what's going on in liquids. So, as you can see, they're not in that kind of uniform shape as before. Now I know I haven't done this perfectly, but these circles are meant to be in the same size because just if a substance melted, for example, these particles wouldn't change size. I just haven't drawn it perfectly. So there are some forces between the different particles, but much weaker than the forces between the particles in solids. Different to solids, they are free to move. Because the solids had a definite shape, they were all kind of in fixed positions. It's different in liquids. These particles move freely. They become the shape of any container that they are put in. So if you put a liquid in a container, they fill and become the shape of that container. Now, compared with solids, they have individual particles have more energy. So each particle, so for example, this particle here would have more energy than this particle here if it was the same substance. So they have more energy, each particle, than the energy of each particle in solids. Also, they have random movement. So these particles move randomly all the way around. So they're all moving randomly and in motion, whereas these ones, remember, they're in fixed positions, they only vibrate. So the third state of matter is gases. Now, as you can see from this particle diagram, the particles in gases are really, really spread out. So there's virtually no forces between the different particles. Very, very low forces between the particles. Very weak forces between the particles. Just like in liquids, the particles are free to move. So it's only solids where the particles are in fixed positions. In gases, the particles are free to move. Now, not only do they fill the shape of the bottom of any container, gases fill the container. So they completely fill any container that they are put into. Now, out of the 3, the particles in the solids, let's say this was the same substance, the particles in a solid has the lowest energy, the particles in a liquid have more energy, the particles in a gas have the most energy. So each particle is much more energetic than either solids or liquids. And finally, just like in liquids, we have random motion or random movement. So these particles are moving around in random directions. So that is the difference between the 3 states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. Thank you.